day I stood singing songs and saying amen, saying goodbye to an old friend who seemed so young. Well, he spent his life working hard to chase a dollar, putting off until tomorrow things he should have done. It made me stop and think, what's the hurry while they're running? I don't like what I'm becoming. I'm gonna change my style, take my time, and not take it all for granted, 'cause we're only here for a little while. Gonna hold who needs holding, mend what needs mending, walk what needs walking, though it means an extra mile. Pray what needs praying, say what needs saying, 'cause we're only here for a little while. Let me love like I'll never see tomorrow. Treat each day as though it's borrowed, like it's precious as a child. Oh, take my hand, let us reach out to each other, 'cause we're only here for a little while. Gonna hold who needs holding, mend what needs mending, walk what needs walking, though it means an extra mile. Pray what needs praying, say what needs saying, 'cause we're only here for a little while. Gonna hold who needs holding, mend what needs mending, walk what needs walking, though it means an extra mile. Pray what needs praying, what needs saying, 'cause we're only here for a little while.
Campfire, coffee from a tin cup in my hand. It sure warms the fingers when it's cold. And playing an old guitar, a friend I understand, can sure smooth the wrinkles in my soul. Sleeping in the moonlight, a blanket for a bed, it leaves a peaceful feeling in my mind. Waking up in the morning with an eagle overhead makes me long to fly away before my time. And I think God must be a cowboy at heart, 'cause he made wide open spaces from the start. He made grass and trees and mountains and a horse to be a friend, and trails to lead old cowboys home again. The nightlife in big cities is all right for a while, country's so pretty, it goes on and on for miles, and it takes away my troubles and my cares. And I think God must be a cowboy at heart, 'cause he made wide open spaces from the start. He made grass and trees and mountains and a horse to be a friend, and trails to lead old cowboys home again, and trails to lead old cowboys home again.
In the stillness of the dawn, our love is dead and gone. The sunrise warms my heart with memories of you. It's the sweetest thing, remembering. There's a picture in the hall that I'm leaving on the wall. There's a look in your eyes that always made me fall apart. It's the sweetest thing, remembering. When I close my eyes to cry, I can't help but feel a smile
doubt, down and out and so alone. A ship tossed and turned, lost and yearning for a home. A survivor, barely surviving, not really sure of his next move. All of this I would have been if there hadn't been you. If there hadn't been you, where would I be? If there hadn't been you here for me, I made it through times I never would have made it through if there hadn't been you. A man filled with hope who finally knows where he belongs. A heart filled with love, more than enough to keep it strong. A life that's alive again, no longer afraid to face the truth. All of this I would have missed if there hadn't been you. If there hadn't been you, where would I be? If there hadn't been you here for me, I made it through times I never would have made it through if there hadn't been you on my side. You in my life, all my dreams would still be dreams if there hadn't been you. All my dreams would still be dreams if there hadn't been you.
I do all right most of the time. I've learned to move on. I've learned to get by. But sometimes I can't find a reason to be free. So I leave a light on for your memory. I leave a light on for your memory, so it will be easy to come back to me when it's late and I'm alone. I need some place to be. I leave a light on for your memory. You found a new love, and I'd like to believe that you're really better off without me. it will be easy to come back to me. When it's late and I'm alone, I need some place to be. I leave a light on for your memory. Yeah, when it's late and I'm alone, I need some place to be. I leave a light on for your memory.
I won't be blue anymore. I'll go out on the town, and I'll take all my friends to every honky-tonk around, and they'll help me forget you and the way it used to be. Then I won't be blue anymore. The only friends I've got now since you've been gone are two arms that used to hold you, and a heart that surely broke, and a mind that sometimes wonders about my sanity. So they made me make this promise to me. I won't be blue anymore. I'll go out on the town, and I'll take all my friends to every honky-tonk around, and they'll help me forget you and the way it used to be. Then I won't be blue anymore. My friends are always with me, even when I'm alone. They watch over and protect me, 'cause they know how far I've gone. They're the only ones that care now, and they knew that they could help. So they made me make this promise to myself. I won't be blue anymore. I'll go out on the town, and I'll take all my friends to every honky-tonk around, and they'll help me forget you and the way it used to be. Then I won't be blue anymore. No, I won't be blue anymore. When I get where I'm going, on the far side of the sky, the first thing that I'm gonna do is spread my wings and fly. I'm gonna land beside a lion and run my fingers through his mane. Or I might find out what it's like to ride a drop of rain. Yeah, when I get where I'm going, there'll be only happy tears. I will shed the sins and struggles I have carried all these and have no fear. Yeah, when I get where I'm going, don't cry for me down here. I'm gonna walk with my granddaddy, and he'll match me step for step. And I'll tell him how I've missed him every minute since he left. And then I'll hug his neck. Yeah, when I get where I'm going, there'll be only happy tears. I will shed the sins and struggles I have carried all these years, and I'll leave my heart wide open. I will love and have no fear. Yeah, when I get where I'm going, don't cry for me down here. So much pain and so much darkness in this world we stumble through. All these questions I can't answer, and so much work to do. But when I get where I'm going, and I see my Maker's face, I'll stand forever in the light of His amazing grace. Yeah, when I get where I'm going, there'll be only happy tears. I will love and have no fear. Yeah, when I get where I'm
Maybe all I got's this beat up leather bag, and everything I own don't fill up half. But don't you worry about the way I pack. All I care about is getting back real soon. A goodbye kiss is all I need from you. I'm carrying your love with me, West Virginia down to Tennessee. I'll be moving with the good Lord's speed, carrying your love with me. It's my strength for holding on. Every minute that I have to be gone, I'll have everything I'll ever need. I'm carrying your love with me. Highway, stuck out in the rain. Darling, all I have to do is speak your name. The clouds roll back and the waters part. The sun starts shining in my heart for you. You're right there and everything West Virginia down to Tennessee. I'll be moving with a good Lord speed, carrying your love with me. It's my strength for holding on. Every minute that I have to be gone, I'll have everything I'll ever need. I'm carrying your love with me. It's my strength for holding on. Every minute that I have to be gone, I'll have everything I'll ever need. I'm carrying your love with me. I'm carrying your love with me. I'm carrying your love with me. West Virginia down to Tennessee. I'll be moving with a good Lord speed, carrying your love with me.
Past 18, he was waiting for the bus in his army green. Sat down in a booth in a cafe there, gave his order to a girl with a bow in her hair. He's a little shy, so she gave him a smile, and he said, would you mind sitting down for a while and talking to me? I'm feeling a little low. She said, I'm off in an hour and I know where we can go. So they went down and they sat on the pier. He said, I bet you got a boyfriend, but I don't care. I got no one to send a letter to. Would you mind if I sent one back here to you? I cried, never gonna hold the hand of another guy too young. But then they told her, traveling soldier, our love will never end. Waiting for the soldier to come back again, never more to be alone. When the letter said a soldier's coming home. So the letters came from an army camp in California, then Vietnam, and he told her of his heart. Might be love and all of the things he was so scared of. He said, when it's getting kind of rough over here, I think of that day sitting down at the pier, and I close my eyes and see your pretty smile. Don't worry, but I won't be able to write for a while. I cried, never gonna hold the hand of another guy too young. But then they told
picture on a poster in a cafe out in Phoenix. Guess you're still a sweetheart of the rodeo. As for me and little Casey, we still make the circuit in a one-horse trailer and a mobile home. And she still asks about you all the time. And I guess we never even cross your mind. But oh, sometimes I think about you and the way you used to ride out in your rhinestones and your sequins with the sunlight on your hair. And oh, the crowd will always love you. But as for me, I've come to know everything that glitters is not gold. Well, old Red, he's getting older, and last Saturday he stumbled. But you know I just can't bear to let him go. Little Casey, she's still growing, and she started asking questions. And there's certain things a man just doesn't know. Her birthday came and you never even called. I guess we never crossed your mind at all. But then sometimes I think about you and the way you used to ride out in your rhinestones and your sequins with the sunlight on your hair. And oh, the crowd will always love you. But as for me, I've come to know everything that glitters is not gold. Everybody said you'd make it big someday, and I guess that we were only in your way. But someday I'm sure you're gonna know the cost. 'Cause for everything you win, there's something lost. But oh, sometimes I think about you and the way you used to ride out in your rhinestones and your sequins with the sunlight on your hair. And oh, the crowd will always love you. As for me, I've come to know everything that glitters is not gold. Ooh, everything that glitters is not gold.
came by today to see you. Oh, I had to let you know. If I knew the last time that I held you was the last time, I'd have held you and never let go. Oh, it's kept me awake nights wondering. I lie in the dark just asking why. I've always been told you won't be called home until it's your time. I guess heaven was needing a hero, somebody just like you, brave enough to stand up for what you believe and follow it through. When I try to make it make sense in my mind, the only conclusion I come to is that heaven was needing a hero like you. I remember the last time I saw you. Oh, you held your head up proud. I laughed inside when I saw how you were standing out in the crowd. You're such a part of who I am. Now that part will just be void. No matter how much I need you now, heaven needed you more. 'Cause heaven was needing a hero, somebody just like you, brave enough to stand up for what you believe and follow it through. When I try to make it make sense in my mind, the only conclusion I come to is that heaven was needing a hero like you. Yes, heaven was needing a hero, and that's you.
Family and friends, welcome this afternoon as we've come together to remember and celebrate the life of Darren Timms, who died suddenly on Thursday, May the 6th. Thank you for attending today to honour the memory of Darren, to support his family and to share your own stories during this difficult time. Thank you to those of you joining us via live stream. We know that you would be here if you could. We're thinking of you also, knowing how hard it is to be separated from Darren's family during this time. Darren is the much-loved son of Beth and Roger, treasured brother and brother-in-law of Gina and Wayne, Curtis and Donna, devoted uncle of Jake and Tara, Samuel, Harper and Lachlan, a mate to so very many. Darren has now joined his dad and those other family and friends who have gone before him. I would like to also pass on to the family the condolences and apologies for nephew Jacob, who can't be with us here today, and both Gavin Pearce MP and Senator Jackie Lambie. Gavin has written a letter to the family which I'd like to quickly share with you now. Dear Gina and family, I was absolutely devastated to hear the news of Darren's passing. It was only on Anzac Day that I sat with Darren. We spoke at length about life, as well as his ongoing battles, and indeed the pain and distress that he was suffering. I'm deeply saddened, but I cherish the time that I was able to spend with him. Please convey my most sincere and heartfelt sentiments and sympathies to your entire family. I am reassured that the pain and suffering that Darren experienced day in and day out is no longer, and my old mate can finally rest. Rest, old digger, will always remember in our hearts and our memories, lest we forget. Yours sincerely, Gavin Pearce. Darren was a man who lived life marching to his own beat and passionate about the things that he loved. He surrounded himself with those that he loved and whom loved him, and his family was the axis on which his world spun. He loved a chat, a beer, and of course his country music. As sad as the family are to lose Darren, they are also at peace knowing that he is no longer in pain and now free from the physical and emotional hardships he carried. But let me start today's service for you now with Darren's own words that he's written for me to read. I was born on the 6th of July 1966 at the Burnie General Hospital at 02:30 hours in the morning. I lived in the Burnie suburb of Acton. I went to Acton Primary School. I started school when I was 5 years old. The day that Elvis died, the school principal closed the school for the day and sent us home. I played soccer, AFL football and cricket. AFL was played during the week and soccer was played on Saturday mornings, and cricket was played during the week in summer. In soccer, in the under-8s and the under-10s, I played as the goalkeeper, but I got sick of getting my hands kicked all the time, so I became the centre forward. In AFL, I was a ruckman and I only played one season. In cricket, I was the wicket keeper and I only played one season. In 1979, my family moved to Devonport, where I went to Reese High School. There I played soccer for grades 7 and 8. We were not allowed to play soccer in grades 9 and 10 because we were too good. We only lost one game in the 2 years that we played. The first year we won the state championship. We won that game 1-0 and I was the scorer of the goal. The second year we lost the state championship. In grades 9 and 10 I went to play club soccer with Devonport City in the under-18s. I was only 14 at the time. We were beaten every game. The others were much bigger than we were. In my last year of the under-18s we won the league. I was captain and I also won the best and fairest and goal scoring awards that year. My first job was when I was 15 years old and I worked at the local supermarket. I then moved on, lasted until I was 17 years old. I joined the army when I was 18 and only lasted 1 year. I had a bad groin injury and was discharged. Then I worked at the local carpet factory as an oiler. This was someone who goes around and oils the machines that they are working. I lost 6 oil cans which kept getting caught in the machines where they were going. So I started as a machine operator working on the Wilton carpet makers. The width of the carpet was 1 metre wide. I only worked there for 4 years and I was unemployed for a year. All the time that I continued to work at the factory, I played soccer. I played in various leagues and became a good goal scorer. I scored over 50 goals in season 4 times, with my best being 87 goals in one season. I rejoined the army on the 16th of October 1990. I had to do recruit training again. I then went to my IET training at Puckapunyal at the School of Catering. At the end of my training, I went to my first posting in June of 1991. My first posting was to Command and Staff College in Queenscliff, Victoria. I was kicked out of Queenscliff in the March of 1993. I was seeing one of my civilian stewards who told me that her husband was not around anymore. Well, one night he came home and caught me in bed with his wife. I left in a hurry and had to get dressed under a street light. A week later, he found out where I lived and confronted me. A week later, I was posted to Townsville. I had 2 posting orders, one to 3 CSSB and the other to 2-4 RAR. I was out bush with 3 CSSB and getting marked AWOL by 2-4 RAR. When I got back from bush, it was all sorted out. And I was posted to 2-4 RAR. 16 months after I was posted, I went to Rwanda. This was August 1994. The deployment lasted 183 days until February of 1995. While in Rwanda, I was given 2 leave passes of 72 hours in Nairobi, Kenya. On the first one, we were a bit pissed and decided to move locations. The cabbie told us the price and we offered another 100 shillings if we could drive. The cab that I drove was a Mercedes-Benz that had no clutch. But if you got the revs right, you could force it into gear. I spent my 15 days leave in Mombasa, Kenya. I stayed in the only 4-star hotel in the area. The hotel had 4 pools, all with bars, and I made the mistake of staying in the pool all day and was lobster red and blistered as well. But I went to the bar the next day. When we started doing patrols, I went along to one of the medical clinics to see what we were doing in this country. On the way, we came across a little girl. She would have been no more than 3 years old. She had a huge wound on the side of her head, and I asked myself if I'd have been there, what I could have done. I think that the person who did this to her should have been made to pay for what he had done. The medics patched her up, and she was sent back to hospital. I don't know if she survived or died. This is the main reason that I'm here. I tried to forget about the incident by drinking 30 cans of beer a day for 15 years. Then when I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, I was made to cut back on the drinking as it was no good. I started to cry at TV shows and even cartoons. So I went to the doctor the next day and I was diagnosed with PTSD and alcoholism. While I was in Rwanda, I went to see the gorillas in the mist. This only cost $50, but by the time we left, was costing $300. We were told to cover the flashes on our cameras. One of our people had a little bit showing. When he took a photo of one of the gorillas, she knocked him about 20 feet. And then her baby sat on him and went through his webbing so he could smell the fruit tingles. We later found out that he had 7 broken ribs. The male of the group left us alone until we got close to him. Then he growled and we moved. We were told to look him in the eyes, found out that was not a good idea as he gets more aggressive. From 1995 to 1998, I was now part of the 2nd Battalion as the unit had separated while we were in Rwanda. These 3 years I spent a lot of time out bush, over 100 days a year. Then I got posted to 1 CER in Holsworthy Barracks in Sydney. I spent 1 year in Sydney, even though Schema had promised me 3 cold winters, as I'd spent 6 years in the tropics. Another Schema lie. I was posted to Darwin, still with 1 CER, as the unit had been moved. We had Corps coming up for Corps interviews. I stood in front of an open steamer. During my interview, I kept scratching my arms. The interviewer asked me what was wrong, and I said I had a mild case of prickly heat. He wanted to look, so I showed him. My arms were as red as hell. He decided that I should be posted out and never return to Darwin. In 1998, I was sitting in a bar in Townsville, minding my own business when this bloke went off. At first throwing an 8-ball, then he hit me from behind with an 8-ball in his hand. I received a hairline fracture to the right-hand side of my jaw. Whenever I got anywhere, I would always sit with my back to the wall. Then in 2010, I was at another bar when I got hit with a bar stool on my left upper back. Then I turned around only to be hit with a second stool to my left upper front. I cannot go out without wondering if this is going to happen again. Both men got 3 years plus in jail. In 2001 and 2002, I was posted to 1 SIG unit in Brisbane, where I did more of the same 100 days bush. In 2003, I was posted back to Townsville to 1 RAR. In that same year, I went to East Timor. In 2006, I was posted to 3 CER still in Townsville. For 3 years that I was posted there, I did 3 exercises in Papua New Guinea. In 2009, I was posted to FSB in Glenorchy, Tasmania. I was the caterer of the unit. I was the only ARA catering person on the island. One of the other units had a WO2 caterer who did not last long as he did not like the fact that he had to answer to me, a CPL. When I was in 1 RAR, he was my boss for a year. I was discharged on the 11th of December 2011, and on the 8th of February 2012, my brother got married, and on the 12th of February, I started my travels. I own a 5th-wheeler caravan and I tow it with a Holden Colorado. I spent 28 months in Charters Tower in Queensland, where I worked as a chef in the RSL, and still State Branch closed it down. I worked there for a year. I'd like to ask Taz, a good mate of Darren's, to come and share with us now.
I don't know where to start or where to begin. All I can say is I'd like to thank all the Timsy's family for giving me the honour and privilege to deliver this eulogy today. For a very special person, a mate, and above all, my brother in arms. I'd like to thank each and every one for coming here today to share this. Also the people that have travelled, whether it's from down south, the mainland, or close by. Most of you that know me, I've known Timsy for almost all my life. I've served with him on operations to Rwanda throughout my army career, which spanned up to 15 years. Timsy first joined the army when he was 18, as Tracy stated. We lost contact when he enlisted, as he enlisted before me. I enlisted in 1991. I got posted to Townsville in 24 RAR in 1994. We went to Rwanda. That's when I caught back up with Timsy. Was over there for 6 months and we got on really well. Obviously because we're both Tasmanians. Having two Tasmanians in the one unit in the one country, we thought, oh no, hell's gonna break loose. Once returning back to Australia, I remember Judy's week. That's where I got sent to the mess. Obviously Timsy was the head chef on duty. I got nominated to be Dixie Basher. I thought, if this is the army, I'm not going to last long here. I'd enjoy to wash dishes. He didn't like the word cook, but me being a character, that's what I used to call him. I said to him, you know why I call you a cook and not a chef? He said, no. I said, because cooks are called finners and turners. I say, because they fit food into pots and turn it into shit. He'd just laugh and say, get stuffed. I was working with him again one day and he was the duty sergeant. He was in charge of the mess. Once again, I was nominated to be Dixie Basher. Duty officer came in and inspected the kitchen. Anyway, he looked into the bain-marie that Timsy prepared and he said, being the head chef, what would you recommend to eat here today, Sergeant Tims? Timsy being Timsy, he looked at the duty officer and said, well, sir, if you want my honest opinion, I'd say go down to Macca's 5 k's down the road. So piss off. Back in those days, you could get away with just about anything because that was Timsy. You know, that was his character. So he didn't care if he was a sergeant, warrant officer, or a duty officer. He'd just tell you how it was. That's how he got the respect of everybody around him. Everyone loved him for it. I recall another incident when we was doing I was back in the mess on duty. I didn't get Dixie bashing that day. I was only in charge of cleaning up out the front where everyone sat. Timsy yelled out to one of the diggers in the mess. He was in charge of the dishwasher. A digger yells out to Timsy. And digger goes, yes, Corporal. He said, well, I need you to go and turn the dishwasher on. The digger went and turned the dishwasher on. Well, Timsy come back with 2 frozen chooks. He said, what are you doing with those? The digger replied. Corporal Tim said, don't ask questions, just turn the dishwasher on. The digger was horrified when Timsy placed the 2 chooks in the dishwasher. He said, "What are you doing that for, Corporal?" Tim said, "Like I said, you don't ask questions." He was putting them in there because he needed to feed the duty officer by lunchtime, so he was storing them out to get ready to cook. So he told the digger to carry on. During Timsy's Timor trip, they had a stand too, where everyone gets into their pits. Approximately 1 a.m. in the morning, Timsy loved sleeping nude. Timsy proceeded to his area, completely naked, except for his rifle in hand. The CSM, Company Sergeant Major, and the echelon commander of the battalion area, who was the head of the catering corps, they both faced Timsy, only for not wearing a helmet. A few of us here used to drink with Timsy regularly on a Friday night, once again nude, and I can assure you, little Darren doesn't look like nothing like a helmet. Ash and Timsy were having a quiet afternoon drink. One ex-grunt infantryman wanted to come over. Timsy had a bright idea for himself and Ash to get naked. I don't know what's with this bloke being naked. And to greet the ex-grunt at the door, while Timsy was looking at the poor person in question in the eye and rubbing and caressing his nipples at the same time, replying, "Yeah, it's not cold yet, is it?" Another ex-veteran, Khan, who's also here today, served with Timsy in East Timor in 1999. As he recalls, Timsy used to sneak beers in the echelon and hide them under the food in the fridge, and then call him and the other men nearby to have a drink behind the scenes. And when the boys took Timsy to Dili into town, Timsy used to walk in and somehow would return with beer. When Timsy was asked, "How'd you get them?" Timsy replied, "I'm a chef, hide my ways." That used to be a daily occurrence. Also, Timsy had a hip flask when he used to consume a beverage whilst on picket. Also, he would also cook up a dish or a brew, also on picket. The enemy would have loved him. I was on leave in Rwanda when I went to Nairobi. Once again, that's where Timsy was, for 10 days. And yes, we used to sit at the bar, consume many amounts of alcohol. He was just an amazing fella. Timsy loved life, and he was a gentle and kindest human being I've ever known. I'm so very lucky and privileged to have been a part of his life. Darren discharged from the Army on the 11th of December 2011 after an amazing 22 years of exceptional service. This man I never considered a friend. He was my brother. I will always love him, and he'll always remain a part of my life and my family's forever. He's left behind an amazing legacy, which I will endeavour to keep carrying on. I will never ever, Timsy will never ever be forgotten. I'd like to finish with a regimental ode. Rest ye, O warrior, you'll battle no more. No longer to live the horrors of war. Your duty was done with honour and pride. Farewell, O brother, until we march by your side. Thank you once again, the Timsy family. It was an honour.
Thank you, Taz. I'd like to share with you these words that were sent from Raylene. Dear Timsy, I can't believe you were gone. However, I'm going to celebrate your life. Everyone in Charters Towers who met you loved you. I feel very privileged to have been part of your journey in this life. You were the most beautiful friend anyone could have. You were smart, cheeky, a great listener, sometimes a bit grumpy, but you had a great heart. You helped me when I needed a friend without judgment. You loved and adored your family. I felt like I knew them. I will miss you every day. Until we meet again, my beautiful friend. All my love, Raylene. As you know, Darren loved his country music and he asked his sister Gina to sing The Gambler today for him. Now, his exact instructions were to make sure that everyone sang along too, so this is our sing-along for Darren at his request, and I know that you all know the words.
He said that I can't stop until you're all singing, so that's his warning to you. On a warm summer's evening, on a train bound for nowhere, I met up with a gambler. We were both too tired to sleep. He took turns of staring out the window at the darkness. Boredom overtook us as he began to sleep. He said, son, I've made a life out of reading people's faces, knowing what the cards held by the way they held their eyes. And if you don't mind me saying, I can see you're out of aces. For a taste of your whiskey, I'd give you some advice. So I handed him that bottle. He drank down my last swallow. Then he bombed a cigarette and asked me for a light. As the night grew deathly quiet, his face lost all expression. If you're gonna play the game, boy, you gotta learn to play it right. You got to know when to hold 'em, know when to fold 'em, know when to walk away, know when to run. You never count your money. When you're sitting at the table, there'll be time enough for counting when the dealing's done. Every gambler knows the secret to surviving is knowing what to throw away and knowing what to keep. Every hand's a winner and every hand's a loser. The best that you can hope for is to die in your sleep. When he finished speaking, he turned back towards the window, crushed out his cigarette and faded off to sleep. Somewhere in the darkness, the gambler, he broke even, and in his final word I found an ace that I could keep. You got to know when to hold 'em, know when to fold 'em, know when to walk away, know when to run. You never count your money. When you're sitting at the table, there'll be time enough for counting when the dealing's done. It's over to you, folks. You got to know when to hold 'em, know when to fold 'em, know when to walk away, know when to run. You never count your money. When you're sitting at the table, there'll be time enough for counting when the dealing's done. Thank you. You got to know when to hold 'em, when to hold 'em, know when to fold, when to fold 'em, know when to walk away, know when to run. You never count your money. When you're sitting at the table, there'll be time enough for counting When the dealing's done, there'll be time enough for counting. When the dealing's done. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Gina. Good job, everyone. As we watch the following images that the family have chosen to share, I hope that you can recall times that you've spent with Darren over the years and smile as you remember.
I can't remember when you weren't there, when I didn't care for anyone but you. I swear we've been through everything there is. Can't imagine anything we've missed. Can't imagine anything the two of us can't do. Through the years, you've never let me down. You've turned my life around. The sweetest days I've found with you. Through the years, I've never been afraid. I've loved the life we've made, and I'm so glad I stayed right here with you through the years. I can't remember what I used to do, who I trusted, who I listened to before. I swear you've taught me everything I know. Can't imagine needing someone so. But through the years it seems to me I need you more and more. Through the years, through all the good and bad, I know how much we had. I've always been so glad to be with you. Through the years, it's better every day. You've kissed my tears away. As long as it's okay, I'll stay with you through the years. Through the years when everything went wrong, together we were strong. I know that I belong right here with you. Through the years, I never had a doubt we'd always work things out. I've learned what life's about by loving you through the years. Through the years, you've never let me down. You turned my life around. The sweetest days I've found with you. Through the years, it's better every day. You've kissed my tears away. As long as it's okay, I'll stay with you through the
When you walk through a storm, hold your head up high and don't be afraid of the dark. At the end of a storm, there's a golden sky and the sweet silver sound of the lark. Walk on through the wind, walk on through the rain, for your dreams be tossed and blown. Walk on with hope in your heart, and you'll never walk alone. You'll never walk alone. Walk on with hope in your heart, and you'll never walk alone. You'll never walk alone.
As we now prepare to say our final goodbyes to Darren, I'd like to remind you all of the invitation to remain with the family after the service here in the chapel, to have a cuppa and to share your own stories about times that you've spent with Darren over the years, with his family and with each other. Darren didn't want any fuss, so Darren's ashes, as you see, are already here with us. His family is able to leave today and take him with them home. But I'd like to ask Taz, Matthew, Ash, Stevie, Khan, Les, Mark, Drew and Craig to come forward and lead us in the ode. If everyone could please stand.
They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. With the going down of the sun, and in the morning we will remember them. Lest we forget.
Family and friends, please be seated. I'd like to ask Gina to come and share with us now a song that she wrote for her brother Darren titled Another Veteran That's Broken. You'll find the lyrics in your service booklet.
Smile lit up his face as he joined the ADF. Not thinking for a second there'd ever be regrets. Love him, his country was meant to be forever. He came home reminiscing at the end of his tether. His chief and his sarge, well, they came from old school, where they barked the orders, and crying wasn't cool. He needed them to understand there's something broken, can't they see? It's totally consuming him, his PTSD. He'd put his uniform on and try and wear it with pride, but it was just a trigger for the demons inside. You see, every time the fear inside him would be woken, all he feels is angst now. He's just another veteran that's broken. Suicide has taken far too many lives all over the country, widowed husbands and wives. We have an epidemic, it shouldn't be at all. We can't just sit back and watch one more veteran fall. He'd put his uniform on and try and wear it with pride, but it was just a trigger for the demons inside. You see, every time the fear inside him will be woken, all he feels is angst now. It's just another veteran that's broken. You see, every time the fear inside him would be woken, all he feels is angst now. It's just another veteran that's broken. Another veteran that's broken. Yes, he's broken. Thank you.
Thank you, Gina. Family and friends, I'd like to ask you to stand, and for those that have poppies, if you could please come and place them here with Darren and follow the family as they leave the chapel.
Considered him the coward of the county. Never stood one single time to prove the county wrong. His mama called him Tommy, but folks just called him Yellow. Something always told me they were reading Tommy wrong. Now he was only 10 years old when his daddy died in prison. And I took care of Tommy 'cause he was my brother's son. I still recall the final words my brother said to Tommy. Son, my life is over, but yours has just begun. Promise me, son, not to do the things I've done. Walk away from trouble if you can. Now it don't mean you're weak if you turn the other cheek. And I hope you're old enough to understand. Son, you don't have to fight to be a man. There's someone for everyone. Tommy's love was Becky. In her arms